dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew? Hey, we back, baby. Patrick CC, what they do, my boy? We got Steve Burns lying to you, but it's okay. He escaped Blue's Clues. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the golden ages of Blue's Clues. But hey, right. I'm a person, honestly, growing up, I didn't like Blue's Clues.
What?
My sister was a Blue's Clues. I ain't like Blue's Clues. I couldn't stand.
Why?
I did not like Blue's Clues, man.
I was glued to the TV every time it came on.
I did not. I was not a Blue's Clues. I was like, you got Blue's Clues on, I'll go watch them. I'll go do something else. I did not care for Blue's Clues, though. My sister did, but I didn't. Now, Rugrats and most of the other stuff, yeah, that was me. But Blue's Clues, for facts, I was a, hey, it's Franklin coming into your, or Bernstein Bears,
I love
a Little Bear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Them my joints.
Yeah, same here.
But Blue's Clues, nah, I ain't care for it.
I love Blue's Clues.
But I respect y'all. I respect y'all opinions, man. You know, I respect it, though. But hey, man, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
Go over there, check out the other channels, man. Go to the Patreon. Go to Facebook. Go to Extra Dose, man. We doing extra big around things over here. But also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it with a thumbs up.
Alright. That was awkward. But let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about, man. It was.
On April 29th, 2002, Season 4, Episode 24 of Blue's Clues, Steve Burns announced to the world that he was leaving for college and would be replaced by his brother, Joe. But that was a lie. The truth is, Steve Burns never wanted to be on children's television in the first place, and he was finally able to escape. But because of this lie, some disturbing rumors were brought to light. The most believed rumor was that Steve had died in a fatal car crash. A more ridiculous rumor was that he was murdered by the Blue's Clues producers, or died in an unsuccessful attempt to fight the Taliban. However, the most believable theory was that Steve was depressed, got addicted to H, and rebelled against the kid show to start a rock band.
Now, I heard the one that he died, and I also heard that he got on drugs.
I heard that. I heard those two.
But other than that, those the only two I heard. Now, all the other conspiracy,
I ain't heard none of those. But yeah, those two I heard. I was like, what?
And I kind of think we possibly already know a lot what Patrick going to be talking about in this, because he did come out. He talked about it. He elaborated on it. And other people elaborate on stuff. So, because it was like a year or two, he came back and he made that whole, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
That whole story, like, letting people know what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
That he never forgot about us and all that. And all y'all was, oh,
do I remember that?
Oh my God.
That theory wasn't entirely false. While the public saw a seemingly cheerful demeanor on screen, Steve struggled with his depreciating mental health off screen. I didn't know it yet, but I was the happiest depressed person in North America. I was struggling with severe clinical depression the whole time I was on that show. Steve's job was to be happy, uplifting, full of joy and wonder all the time. He had to pretend to be interested and amazed at the smallest things, like discovering Blue's paw print that was directly in front of him. He spent 10 hours per day filming in an empty Blue room, so that he could be superimposed on the digitally animated world of Blue and her friends. At the time, technology wasn't as advanced as today, meaning Steve had nothing visual or tangible to work with. Steve said his experience was awful, and compared it to acting at the bottom of a swimming pool. Pools are filled with water, so stay hydrated. As if his experience wouldn't be any more taxing on his mental health, the insane things posted about him online made things even worse. Take this game on Newgrounds, for example, where your objective was to destroy Blue and then assassinate Steve. You eliminate the dog, then go into the house where Steve is flipping you off, so you shoot him until his head pops off and then the house burns down. He also had to read creepy fan fiction, like this one that romanticizes the idea of Blue assaulting Steve with a deadly weapon. For some reason, people love the idea of stripping the innocence away from a children's TV show and trying to create a disturbing narrative around it. To this day, TikTokers express theories that Steve is a drug addict living in a crack house and that his hallucinations cause him to talk to inanimate objects, which...
But isn't majority of like people that like Well, never mind. The age group on TikTok is very, very like sporadic.
Yeah, so.
But because I was gonna say, majority of the people who probably are like big on TikTok, I wasn't gonna say Gen Z, so they ain't really grow up on our Blues Clues. They grew up. But we got millennials who are probably so. That's still weird, bro.
Yeah,
like
very much so.
honestly, I'll say this: majority of people who do that, they are lusting for attention. Like they probably would sell their mom for get the attention. Think about it. Some of the stuff I done told you. One woman, Fate said what was it? Her daughter was kidnapped and stuff for TikTok attention.
Oh yeah.
And then what I told you, the woman, she wanted to adopt a YouTuber wanted to adopt a child, but they when she was told she couldn't adopt a child, she couldn't film the child for her YouTube channel. She decided to cancel the whole adoption and was like, I don't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
Like people nowadays lust and thirst for their attention.
Facts.
For monetary gain. It's the new drug. Like TikTok, YouTube, all these social media platforms, even Twitch and all these other, a lot of these people are not genuine. And those are the majority of the people that people constantly watch. Yeah. But they're not doing it for their genuineness. They're doing it only for money, either monetary gain or notoriety. What?
True. Facts.
What you say?
Nothing.
Don't you start now.
Life. People also believe that the children's voices we occasionally hear are actually Steve's neglected children, helplessly watching him feed into his addiction. Or the reason Steve is excited whenever he gets mail is because it either includes the welfare check he plans to spend on more drugs or contains the drugs themselves. Most of the time, rumors like this are easily dismissed, but for some reason, millions of people all around the world genuinely believe them. It's likely that even you have some random conspiracy theory about Steve embedded into your brain. However, most people just thought he died. An easy one to disprove, but it still worried him. I'm starting to think that maybe there's something people know that I don't know. In November 1999, the New York Times published an article detailing Steve Burns' time working on Blue's Clues and described the show's impact on children. Most notably, the article addressed the unsettling rumors surrounding Mr. Burns' well-being. The rumors were so prominent that the talk show host Rosie O'Donnell invited Steve to appear on her show. I died a whole lot of different ways, Steve recalled. Rosie's kid is a big fan, so I just went on and said, "Hi, I'm alive. Bye." It was pretty easy to prove I wasn't dead. These rumors were so powerful that Steve felt the need to address Rosie O'Donnell's child with "I'm alive" because he knew children around the world were genuinely concerned about him. Because you have to keep in mind that Blue's Clues was the highest rated premiere of any Nickelodeon program and became crucial to the network's growth. It was a pioneer in interactive TV. The original Blue's Clues engaged its preschool age audience by breaking the fourth wall and speaking directly into the camera. Millions of kids around the world felt a deep and personal connection to Steve, which made these rumors more potent. It also made his exit from the show more detrimental. Mr. Burns was 22 when the show premiered, and as he approached his 30s, it was time to move on.
Reveals the bald truth about his departure. I knew I wasn't going to be doing children's television all my life, mostly because I refused to lose my hair on a kids' TV show, and it was happening.
Steve knew that his baldness would ruin his boyish look and appeal. The network insisted that he wear a wig, but he refused. Combine this with his depreciating mental health, it was finally time to exit. He told the viewers,
which is smart though, like, cause as he was 22, which is, you know what I'm saying, you still are very much youthful, you know what I'm saying, but as you start approaching 30, you kind of want to more mature. You don't want to still be doing the kiddish stuff and stuff. So he wants to just mature, it seems like. And with the baldness thing too, if he went bald, people would have been like, "What the?" They
would have took to him the same because also would have made him look
older. And so it kind of be cringe.
Like that's not the person.
And it would be cringy seeing the older bald man. You just like, why he playing around? Like, look, he is. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
So him leaving was the best thing for him. And then I guess the network's selfishness probably didn't want to see him leave. So
because it was such a big show, bringing in lots of views, which equals lots of money.
And did the ratings drop because of his departure? Maybe Patrick talk on that.
by in his final send-off alongside his new replacement Joe, and children around the world thought he was just going to go to college and he would return shortly. They were mistaken. Steve was not off to college. He was about to embark on his journey of being the lead singer of a psychedelic rock band. Steve was interested in music way before Blue's Clues. Steve Burns attended Boyertown Area Senior High School in Berks County, Pennsylvania, graduating in 1992. He played in bands called Sudden Impact, 9 Pound Truck, and the Ivies. He continued playing music on the side while pursuing an acting scholarship at DeSales University in the Lehigh Valley. Shortly after being discovered by an agent, Steve dropped out of school and moved to New York City to become a professional actor. In '95, Steve arrived at Nickelodeon under the impression he was auditioning for a voiceover role for a game show, but then later found out it was for a kid show. Steve was a grungy 90s skate rock kid with long hair and earrings, not the ideal fit for the job. Tracy Page Johnson, executive producer and co-creator of Blue's Clues, says that he didn't want to be a children's host. Of the 100 people we auditioned, he was by far the realest. He loved kids, but he didn't want to make a career out of it. Steve didn't want to be on children's television. He wanted to make music, and after he stepped away from the show, he could finally make his dreams a reality. In 1999, Steve walked into a party in New York where he heard the Flaming Lips 1999 album, The Soft Bulletin, for the first time, considered by many to be the Flaming Lips' masterpiece. This moment changed Burns' life and reignited a passion for music he thought Blue's Clues had burned away. From there, he acquired Pro Tools and started writing songs. I had literally been doing nothing but talking to objects made of felt for 6 years. There was this weird creative constipation going on. Steve wrote roughly 35 songs in one sitting, but selected 12 to feature on his debut album, Songs for Dust Mites. Now it was time to get in the studio to record, so he contacted his favorite producer, Dave Fridman, who had worked with the Flaming Lips in the past. Interestingly enough, Fridman had just held a Blue's Clues themed birthday party for his children, so he was eager to see what creative potential Steve had. Steve sent Dave some demos, assuming he'd think they sucked, but he got the opposite reaction. Dave liked it, and he asked if Steven Drozd, the drummer of the Flaming Lips, could come and work on some music with them. In a dream world even Blue's Clues couldn't have imagined, the Flaming Lips wanted to work with Steve. The bassist, Michael Ivins, later joined the team as well, helping engineer several sessions. The lead vocalist, Wayne Coyne, actually approached Steve with the offer to star in a movie he was directing called Christmas on Mars. He was hesitant at first, but ultimately accepted the role. Because of Steve's ridiculous story of leaving a kids show and starting a band, there was a flurry of interest from various record labels. He ultimately signed with Pious Records in late 2002 when a label executive sat him down and said, "This makes sense. I don't know why, but there's a thread of logic between Blue's Clues, the Flaming Lips, and your record." And he was...
Were some of these labels looking at the possible opportunity that he already has, like, popularity from the show that could possibly convert over to the music, so he'll already have a fan base, but you also got to realize that the age group of his fan base is, they weren't into that yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know what type of rock music he was into, like as far as I can think of it, but I ain't gonna lie, back in the day, you know what I'm saying, little Green Day would come on, Maroon 5, you know, we took to it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because of Disney Channel shows, though. Because you got to think about it, like, you used to hear, like, going to the mall back in the day was so lit because the same shows that used to be featuring, like, Disney Channel movies and Disney Channel shows would play up while you in a mall. So you have this nostalgic feeling and vibe. So I would say, but he was so impactful to little kids. Right. So I don't believe it could have worked.
I mean, I don't know. I was trying to think of the.
He don't like you right now.
He really don't. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, he had that salmon. I hate getting the salmon. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry.
But I was trying to think of like what age everyone would be. Like, at this particular time.
So, he left, 99? So, 99, 2000. 99. So, majority of his fan base probably would have been...
How long was he? Like, I'm also trying to think of how long he was...
8, 9 at the most. And then possibly, and the youngest probably 5. So, they ain't really checking for
it. Not, again, but we don't know what it sounded like. But, yeah, but I don't know.
but there's a thread of logic between Blue's Clues, The Flaming Lips, and your record. And he was right. Something about the perfectly innocent image of a children's show, combined with the amount of insane rumors surrounding Steve, leading to being a frontman of a psychedelic rock band, was a crazy storyline. Burns professionally entered the world of rock music following the release of his indie rock album Songs for Dust Mites in August of 2003. Although the 12-track album did not garner much commercial success, it received praise from critics, as Pitchfork gave the project a 7.8 out of 10, and complimented Burns' lyrical insight and gift for writing and arranging endlessly listenable pop songs. You can actually hear one of the songs from the album, Mighty Little Man, as the opening theme for the CBS series Young Sheldon. Despite releasing music and starring in a...
Okay, and see, that's what I was saying, like, I understand we just spoke on that, but it's kind of like, without us knowing what the music actually sound like, it could kind of be like, and then the album released in 2003, so 2003, a lot of us was going into those pre-teens, or you was right at like that 10 to 13 age, so now you going into your rebellious age, so you want to listen to that, like, what you were not supposed to listen to, especially back then, you know what I'm saying, so maybe, but Steve had been gone, and all our kiddish mind could associate him with Blue's Clues. Like me seeing if I was to take myself back to that time, what I wanted to see Steve from Blue's Clues doing music, no. Opposed to, let me say this, opposed to seeing like Hilary Duff from what's the show? Lizzie McGuire, and seeing her singing, I'm like, okay, I want to see that because I'm used to her as far as that age range. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm thinking like, would I really have been opposed to hearing him though? Like,
because it's different from seeing like Beyonce when she was on Smart Guy, or because those are cameos, opposed to like what real actor has ever been able to like go from, especially back then, go from acting into the music world and actually succeed. It was very rare for people.
Talking about like kids, or just overall.
Like I'm saying in the 90s and as kids.
Oh, like a kid. Yeah. Okay.
Like being put. Who you finna say?
No, I'm about to say. I was trying to make sure you was talking about like kids. Yeah. And not already adult acting going.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like a child actor, or somebody who's been exposed to kid, like.
I still don't think. Yeah. I get what you said, but I still don't think I would have been opposed to it. But I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah. Though.
Horror comedy film called Netherbeast, rumors surrounding Steve's death resurfaced on the internet again. Burns told MTV in late 2007 that he was starting to take it personally. I guess the world would prefer that I was dead, but I'm not listening. Crazy. I should really just create a website with my vital statistics on it. It could be live. There has to be a way I can hook up a heart monitor to my computer just to let people know I'm alive. To this day, Steve's Instagram handle is Steve Burns Alive, with a bio that reads, "I've seen the meme." Unfortunately for Steve, he didn't exactly become the rock star he dreamed of being. Most of his buzz from his first project was earned due to the juxtaposition of his Blues Clues career. After that, he started another band, Steve Burns and the Struggle, alongside the Flaming Lips Stephen Drozd and A Million Billion frontman Ryan Smith. The collective released an album, Deep Sea Recovery Efforts, in 2009, but it failed to do anything substantial. For many years, Steve disappeared from the spotlight. Slowly but surely, rumors of his death, addiction, and God knows what else made their way back onto the internet. But in 2017, Steve got a call that he never thought he would get. Nickelodeon gave the original creators of Blues Clues permission to develop a reboot of the series after multiple failed attempts. Nickelodeon posted a video announcing that they were looking for a new host of the show. Steve helped the creators during the casting process, and after 1,000 auditions, they eventually selected Josh De La Cruz, who was an understudy for Disney's Aladdin on Broadway for 5 years. De La Cruz would play Steve and Joe's cousin, Josh. Steve was initially reluctant to continue his association with the show, but was persuaded by its fans on social media to write, direct, and appear on the show. The reboot, Blues Clues and You, has been a huge success following its premiere, producing 4 seasons before being renewed for a 5th early last year. Keep in mind, most people had no idea this even happened. Unless you have kids or very young siblings, you probably never knew that Steve returned to the show. But in 2021, Nick Jr.'s Twitter account posted a video for the 25th anniversary of Blue's Clues featuring Steve, and we all thought he had returned from the dead.
Hi. You got a second? Okay. You remember how when we were younger, we used to run around and hang out with Blue and find clues and talk to Mr. Salt, freak out about the mail and do all the fun stuff. And then one day I was like, oh, hey, guess what? Big news. I'm leaving. This is my brother Joe. He's your new best friend. And then I got on a bus and I left. And we didn't see each other for like a really long time. Can we just talk about that?
You don't remember this?
I don't.
Wow. In 2021?
I feel like
It went all over the place.
I feel like baby, you know my memory is not good. And even if I did see it, I don't remember it. I'm sorry.
You need some peanuts in your life. What is that? No, I forgot which one it is.
Some walnuts?
I don't know.
Great. Because I realized that was kind of abrupt.
Steve went on to explain what happened to his character, continuing the fake story of him going to college, because having a really unsuccessful rock band was not the narrative Nickelodeon wanted to continue. But his ability to speak through the camera and develop a one-on-one connection with the viewer resonated deeply with Blue's Clues fans. It's like we were all 5 years old again. The post was retweeted 700,000 times and liked by 1.9 million people. I think the overwhelming engagement is a huge testament to how powerful these rumors were over the years. Literally millions of people around the world thought he was a criminal, a drug addict, or dead. It's almost as if people wanted to believe them, because the rumors were debunked numerous times over the years. So for him to essentially return from the shadows after 2 decades was shocking for so many people. This return finally put the rumors to rest. Steve Burns is not a child predator, he is not a drug addict, he is not a criminal, and most certainly not dead. Although he didn't want to be in kids' TV originally, he doesn't regret it at all. I hope I'll be remembered for that show for the rest of my life. That will always be a part of my identity, and I'm totally cool with that. Today, Burns travels to colleges around the country to speak to students about mental health because those rumors destroyed his, and now he's using that to help you improve yours.
Yo, shout out to Steve. I think over time, he had to mature into understanding. Because, you know, when you're young, you're like, I don't want to get caught up into this one career.
Yeah.
And then you go away from it, and 20 years down the line, you regret going away from it because that's what your biggest success of life is. And you're like, damn, maybe I got up and walked away too soon. And maybe, like, that was my calling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see so many people being successful in whatever they're doing, and they're already putting the end cap to, hey, I want to be doing this until this time, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, don't say that, because you're doing something people older than you possibly want to do and be successful at it, and you kind of, like, taking advantage of the opportunity you've been given. To say, hey, I'm going to do this up to this time, and I'm going to be done with this shit, you know? And I'm like, you can't really say that because that might be your calling. And you can walk away from that and never be successful in anything else.
But also, as someone that may not know at that moment that that's their calling, they only want to do, like, in that moment, what I'm doing is, like, paying the bills, is making me money, it's cool, but I'm not really genuinely happy doing that. But it may be my calling, but I have to, that's when branch out and do you gotta do life.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, you got to learn how to evolve with what you do.
Right.
Like, even like we're doing YouTube, like, let's say this, we started off doing music reaction. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got all our buzz. Then we said, all right, let's switch it up. Like, we don't want to just known for music reaction. So we went into the world of doing comedy. Yeah. We was maxing out on the comedy, everything, we was laughing, and we kind of got tired of always laughing. Even though we enjoyed it, it was like every video we did had to have something surrounding comedy. And I feel like we had burnt ourselves out on that. And so we switched it up. Like, and then we went to memes and going into other different lanes. Yeah. And I think sometimes, even though you're in this career, you have to know how to kind of twist it, evolve it, and not continue to be stuck in one path.
Yeah, I'm stuck in this one lane.
Yeah, and I think with Steve, he felt stuck.
Yes.
but his passion was always music.
Right.
But that might not have been his calling.
Right.
His calling is very motivational, inspirational, because that's what Blues Clues was. It was very motivational. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was very like inspiring other kids to want to do what they life.
Want to do things, want to learn. Yeah. Like
you motivating them to, because honestly, like you got to think about it, those TV shows. Really was the foundation for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Those are still some of the most impactful shows of all time because of how they impacted a generation.
Facts. I do agree.
Hey, good to see Steve was able to go back into what he probably thought he didn't need.
Yeah. And what he thought was like,
but that's
definitely
part of
his
you.
end.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's part of you. And sometimes you gotta accept it and be like, hey, I don't necessarily have to be on camera. I can fall back and still be a part of it.
Yeah.
And still have my impact be felt.
Facts.
So, hey, ain't no wrong with it, man. Shout out to Steve Burns,
Shout
man.
out.
I didn't know his last name was Burns, though. Like, if I ever saw the name Steve Burns, I would not have thought Blues Clues Steve.
Oh.
So, hey, learn something new every day, man. But, hey, man, make sure y'all spam us up in the comments. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it in the comment section down below, man. But as always, I do go by the name DJ Kid. This is. We are.
Had to go and get it. Ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me.